Hi, everyone. This is Betsy Wurzel, your host of Chatting with Betsy on Passionate World Talk Radio, where our mantra is to educate, enlighten, and entertain. The views of the guest may not represent those of the host or the station. Folks, before I forget, I do have a public service announcement that I am proud to announce. Chatting with Betsy can now be heard on WDJY 99.1 FM, 10 a.m. Eastern Time. I am on Hype Media Global Corporation. It is www.wdjyfm.com. So you can listen to my shows there. And you can subscribe to Chatting with Betsy on Spreaker, Spotify, iHeart, YouTube, to name just a few. It is free to subscribe to when you do not want to miss my phenomenal guest. And I have a phenomenal guest on today. I have with me today Lois Wyant, who is owner and CEO of JFT Web Marketing. She's going to talk about her business and how to get your business ranked higher on Google, which I can't wait to hear that. And Lois is also podcast host and organizer of the wonderful The Giant Builders podcast, which is heard on wherever you hear your favorite podcasts. And I was a guest on Lois's show. It's a great show, and I highly recommend that you check it out. And I want to welcome Lois Wyant to Chatting with Betsy.
Hi,
welcome,
Betsy.
Lois.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Oh, you are welcome. It's my pleasure to have you on and to return the favor of coming on my show. I think we'll talk about your podcast first, since before the interview, we were just talking about shows. You have a wonderful show, The Giant Builders. How did you come up with that name?
It just came. I don't really have like an aha story with that. It just came to me. I think I was just thinking about the fact that, especially as a woman, I feel like I'm always supporting somebody, whether it's my family or a coworker or my husband. So I just feel like in that concept, I'm like building giants. So I loved the idea that I'm helping to support people and helping to build them and building them into giants. And so with building giants, I've broken it down into 4 pillars. And I feel like these are like the 4 legs of the chair. So it's spiritual, health, family, and business. And not only do I feel that those are 4 important items in my life, but I feel like that's a very important order for me personally.
Oh, I agree. Yes. And your show is a variety of different guests on about different topics.
Right. Well, those 4 topics, spiritual, health, family, and business. And, the great thing, I've met so many wonderful people like you, and I just love the fact that they are so open and so honest. I mean, you yourself shared some wonderful stories about your husband and your son, and it just brings to life, how hard it can be, but how durable and strong we are when we're building giants.
Yes, I like that. I like your concept, and everyone has a story, and we should hear people's stories.
So true.
So I really and I appreciated being on your show. I think you're a great host. And I'm not just saying that, folks, because Lois is on. You have to check out the show because I think, Lois, you and I have a lot in common. The way we do our shows, very, it's unscripted, it's natural, it's authentic. Yeah. And I really think it's wonderful. And, so many people may think, well, why do you promote someone else's show on your show? because that's what we're supposed to do, folks. Support each other and help each other. And, we can't do it alone. And I think it's wonderful when people just support each other and cross-collaborate. And, not everyone has the right, or not everyone has all the answers. I shouldn't say has the right answers, has all the answers. And we learn from each other. Like, you could say something, Lois. I could say the same thing, but somebody else might respond to you better. Just the way you say it. Yeah. So I encourage people, check out other people. And I think I might offend people here, but that's okay. I think when someone is secure in themselves, they can say, I think you should listen to so-and-so because they're not threatened by someone else, because they want to support someone. That, to me, is an authentic person. Just
I agree. I agree.
Well, thank you, Lois, for agreeing. I had to get that out. I just got to say, folks, what's on my mind, because when you've been doing this, and like Lois and I have been doing it, sometimes we get a little discouraged, and we need, support from other people. We're human too. And I just think that if you hear shows and you like them, send a comment in. Send a comment in to Lois. Send a comment in to me, about it. And now I'll get to your business. How did
Hey, man,
I love it. You are owner and CEO of JFT Web Marketing. What kind of business is it, and what do you do? I have so many questions about it, and how did you start it? Where do you want to start, Lois?
Wow, okay, let's see. We'll go with where we started. So my husband and I had a photography studio for over 30 years, and I was also in charge of the marketing as well as one of the photographers. And I've always been very intrigued with marketing, especially as internet marketing started and Google started. And I felt like it gives us a chance to be more even, if you will. I mean, I have a chance to get on the first page of Google just as much as Walmart does. So it gives us a chance to have a platform where if we follow the rules, we can also rank in them. And so I enjoy the fact that it gives us more opportunity, and it gives us just a place to share our voice and share our story. So it kind of, as I go along, and plus I just love learning. I love the challenges of trying to keep up with the Google changes and knowing what the rules are and making sure we're following the rules for our clients. So JFT then offers internet marketing. We build websites. We do YouTube. A lot of people don't realize that Google owns YouTube, so that's a platform that if you work together, then that really helps with your rankings. And I
didn't know that.
Yeah.
I did not know that. Google owns YouTube.
Yeah.
If I knew it, I forgot about it.
No.
Wow. Mm-hmm. Oh, you know what? That's interesting.
You're helping yourself.
Wow. That's thanks for saying that. I don't know why I thought Facebook owned YouTube. I don't know why No, they own Instagram.
Yeah, Facebook owns a lot of things, but they don't own YouTube.
Okay, so Google and YouTube are connected. Wow, thanks for saying that. See, folks, I do always learn from my guests. Oh, okay, I do. If I knew it, I forgot about it, folks. But what can I tell you? I'm 65. I don't remember everything. And I love to have fun on my show. So that, okay. So if I had a business and I wanted to contact you, you would set up a website, and would you go over how I would get ranked on Google or get higher? Because you know what, I'm not a tech person, and I don't know how you get yourself ranked on Google, like a higher rank.
Yeah. So there's actually 7 things that I'm going to share with you, and they're kind of in the order of importance. So the first kind of like Google rule is that your site has to be mobile friendly. And the reason for that is 85% of the people are now searching online on their phones. And so if they go on their phone and they search your website and your tabs are too small for them to push, or your site doesn't line up to do a mobile view, then they're probably just going to click off of it. And so Google knows this, that people want to be able to see your site on their mobile phones. So Google established a rule that if your site's not mobile friendly to their qualifications, they just are not going to rank your site up. And I'll share these links with you. There is a site that Google has that you could test to see if your site is mobile friendly. Now the second thing is that your site must be really fast. And they have standards on how fast it could be. And there again, it's because people are on their phones. You know, we used to have the attention span of a goldfish, and now we're actually less than a goldfish now. So
True.
Yeah, I know, it's sad. It's sad that we're compared to a fish. But
I saw that in the preschool kids, Lois. As the years went by, they had like attention span. I hate to say it, like a bug. I mean,
yeah.
Just not there.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
It's not getting better. So, so there is a certain speed requirement. And again, there's a website that I'll share a link with you, and the website will actually tell you what's wrong with your site, that it's not fast enough. And especially if you have a WordPress site, there are some plugins that can be used to help speed up the website. So the next important thing is content. And it's not just content that, oh, I would like to write about this because I'm interested in. You really have to go in and research what kind of content are people searching for. And there's a site called answerthepublic.com. And it actually, if you put in a topic, it'll give you a list of questions that people are searching for on that topic. So the idea there is that you sort through those questions. You pick the questions that are most important to you or to your topic or to your website, and then you just answer those questions. You list the question and then you put your answers in. And it also helps you with the searches when people search for those questions. You know how you search for something and you've got all those little tabs there that have answers to those questions? That's how you're getting into that area. So it's important then, and sometimes you'll get overwhelmed with trying to create really good answers to that. You can use some of the AI techniques to bring up some major topics that you should cover, but you should always write it in your own self. I mean, your own language. Write it so it's your own personality. So, because I know the AI thing is a really big deal right now, but you just want to make sure that you're changing all the content so that it reflects your business and your personality.
That's great advice. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
You were phenomenal.
So the next one really irritated me when it came out. So the next one is that the websites that get the more clicks get ranked on the first page. So I'm thinking, if I'm not on the first page, how am I going to get clicks? You know, I could have all my relatives go in every day and click on my website, but that's going to burn out pretty fast. And so fortunately, I found a tool in which it actually sets up, it's pulling from a whole pool of people, and the program actually goes in, visits your website from these different areas. So it's not like just one place in like Indiana where I am. It's just different places around the country are going in and clicking on your site, specifically a page that you want ranked up. So it's clicking on that page. It's scrolling through This is all kind of the technology of it. And then it goes to the contact page, because generally if somebody's really searching for your services, chances are they're going to search for what that particular topic is. So if you were, say, a dentist and you were trying to ranking up on wisdom teeth, then you would have that tool. Click on wisdom teeth. It would spend a few minutes on that page, and then it'll go to the contact page. Because if somebody's really searching organically for something, chances are they're going to go to whatever they're looking for and the contact page. So this program does that, and that feeds the algorithm to Google that your site is being visited and that particular topic is being clicked on, and it actually helps with the rankings.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it's pretty techy, but it's really great help. So the next thing is you really need to use Google Tools. And this is where we're going to go into the YouTube thing. So if you, especially on your home page, if you create a YouTube video, say something that answers one of those questions that you got off of Answer the Public, or it's a history of your business, or it's a welcome to my business, or anything like that. You create a video for your homepage that's appropriate. You put it on YouTube, and then you embed that on your homepage. Google likes that because Google owns YouTube, and they like the fact that you're using their tools. You're keeping people on their tools. So that helps in the rankings because it gives more authority to your site. Another thing is Google Maps. So if you were to go in and embed a map area of like the area that you service or your location and embed that on especially the home page or the footer of your website, then actually that does help in the rankings as well.
No, that would make sense because, like, I live in New Jersey, you live in Indiana, so I would want a resource that's, local to me.
Right.
And you can find it on Google Maps.
That's the reason why they have the Google Local is because Google wants to make sure that people are searching for, like, a dentist. It comes up in my town and not in New Jersey. So that's where the local part's very important.
Yes, I use Google Maps all the time, and I'll tell you what, Lois, that I'll tell the audience, not only do I use Google Maps, I look on Google for reviews, especially with doctors.
Oh, and that's our next point. That was so good. You planned that. Way to go, Betsy. And that is, reviews is our last step. Google sees reviews in a couple different ways. It tells Google that, A, you're in business because people are leaving reviews. It tells Google that you're making people happy because they're leaving reviews. And so it gives your website and your Google listing more authority. And, the funny thing is, not that this is funny. I'm sorry. It's not funny. But if you had 10 people and you made them mad, 9 of them will go on and leave a review. You have 10 people and you make them all happy, 2 of them will go leave a review. So it's a point of you need to make sure that you are asking clients that are happy to leave a review. Now you can't reward them, so you can't give them like 10% off the next service or something like that. You can't reward them. I'm not sure how Google would ever find out, but that's kind of against some Google rules, and we don't want to take a chance of breaking a Google rule because if you get banned from Google, it's almost impossible to get back. But you can ask people. So, and there's some tips on that is that, like if you're a service, you could have the service person like leave a business card. And maybe on one side the business card has the contact information, and on the other side it says, please leave us a review. You could send them a postcard after the service is done. You can actually send them an email after the service is done and say, hey, we just want to follow up. Is everything? You want to make sure everything was good before you actually send them to a link because you don't want to encourage people who are not happy leaving a review. So you send them an email saying, hey, we just want to follow up and make sure everything was okay, and and ask them to respond or give them a feedback page to answer. And then once that comes back, you then send them the link to the Google review. But Google reviews are very important, and probably the estimate is that 87% of the people searching for a service will read reviews. And if the reviews are really old, more than 6 months old, then people are going to think you're out of business or that you just don't make people happy enough to leave a review. So those are my 7 steps to getting ranked higher on Google.
Wow. I'll tell you what, folks. I don't know about anyone else, but I'll tell you right now, that was valuable information. That was great, Lois. That's phenomenal. I'd say I have phenomenal guests. I do. I learn from each guest that comes on. That is really interesting. And I'll tell you about the reviews. I do look at reviews of doctors. Now, of course, everyone's going to have a different opinion. You know, like I may like a doctor. If Lois lived in my area, she might go to the same doctor. Not like them, but you get like a kind of general idea by looking at, you know, a lot of reviews. Don't read just, to me, I don't read just like the first 5. I'll read a few and decide if I want to go there or not. I myself have left reviews, good and bad, on different places, but my son just had a tooth pulled, and I looked at the doctor's office on Google. It had great reviews, and they even asked us to leave a review on Google, which I did. And I just think that, you know, especially, I know I'm so crazy, especially with getting my hair done. I will look. I will look at reviews. So that is really, it is important about that.
And it's important to look at the bad reviews too and kind of read them and see if the person just had, you know, ideas that were just not understandable. You know, just some people just have bigger expectations than what their service is. And so you know, you have to read bad reviews as well and determine whether or not that person has a realistic complaint. But
exactly.
The other thing to know about Google is that you can't delete reviews. So if a business gets a bad review, the only thing they can do to help their ranking is to get a lot of good reviews and bury that bad review because Google won't take it off.
Oh, okay. You're right, because I have seen bad reviews on there, and sometimes the person or the company will say, sorry you had a bad experience, please call, you know, we can do something for you. And I have seen, you know, responses similar to that. But there's sometimes, I know I left a bad review with a movie chain, I won't mention the name, and they never answered.
Yeah. So if you get reviews, you know, especially if it's a small business, in looking at the reviews, you need to respond to all of them, good and bad. And, of course, it's easy to respond to the good reviews. But on the bad reviews, you do need to go in and say, hey, I'm sorry you had a bad experience. Let's take this offline and have a conversation. And then you need to make that happen. Because if you're able to get that person satisfied, you know, maybe you did make a mistake. Maybe your service person did mess up. You know, if you can make that a positive experience, you can ask them to go and change the review. So the person who wrote the review can change it, but it can't be deleted.
Oh, that's interesting too. Lois, if somebody has a business and they wanted to hire you, they get in contact with you, do you go over all this information? And I'm sure you go over it in more detail to help them.
Yeah, so we run all the tests to make sure their website is going on. We talk about the type of service they have, where can we work into these different things, like where can we work in reviews? Is it easier for you to send postcards? Is it easier to make it automatic that once the service is done, that it automatically 2 weeks later they get an email? So we try to, I'm very much a system person. I like having systems in place so that I don't have to go in and do something and think about it. So we do go into a really in-depth conversation about what does that company actually need.
That is, I'll tell you what, if I had a business, I would be contacting Lois, because I just learned in this conversation things that I didn't even know about. You know what I don't understand, and I'm not a tech person at all. What do they mean by the search engine? Like they say, you have to use certain hashtags for the search engine. I don't understand that.
So the search engine is the tool you're using to search. So Google is a search engine. Yahoo is a search engine. So it's the actual tool that you're using to do your searches. Oh,
okay. You see, folks, I ask questions that I want to know the answers to.
If I know, I'll help you.
And how about hashtags? Do you help people know what hashtags to use to bring people's attention to what their business is?
Yeah, hashtags is more of a social media tool.
Okay.
But we do have tools that we can bring up and search for what hashtags are best for them. But that is more of a social media type thing, not necessarily a Google thing.
Oh, okay. Now you see, folks, what did I know? Well, you know what? Actually, I go on YouTube a lot. I am a YouTube fanatic. There's a lot of shows I watch on YouTube. I don't have a TV, so I watch YouTube. And I notice that each person has hashtags on YouTube. And so since now I found out Google owns YouTube, does that affect their ranking on YouTube or Google by the hashtags that they use on YouTube?
Not necessarily the rankings, but it does affect as far as what people are searching for. So if people are searching for specific hashtags, then that will bring those items up.
That is I'm very interested. I became I guess because I don't have a TV, I became more interested in, YouTube. And actually, this is kind of funny. There's a guy who does a shark show, Sharks Happen, and I said, what's the chances of him coming on my show? But I asked him, and Hal came on, and, it's a great show. And, I mean, he's gotten a lot of subscribers, but, you never know who you can meet on YouTube that could help your business.
Oh, that's
right?
So true. Yeah. And since we're talking YouTube, some of the things is like leaving comments on videos that you like and getting interactions with people and kind of getting to let them know that you're a fan would open some doors if you wanted to try to reach out to people to get them as guests.
Yeah, you just never know of who you come in contact with. I mean, there's other people on YouTube. I reached out and asked if they want to be a guest, and I never heard from them. Excuse me. But that's a chance to take. But and actually, the show that I did with Hal Miller, that's his name, Sharks Happen, it did quite well because people are interested in sharks. But I just and he has his other businesses, but I was really, and you did enlighten me. See, the mantra of Passion World Talk Radio educate, enlighten, entertain. I'll tell you what, folks, every time, every guest, this is what happens for me. I do get educated. You educated me today, Lois. I mean, thank you so much. This was interesting.
Well, I felt like that was reciprocal because you educated me so much when you were on my show, so I thought it was fair.
Yeah, thank you. And so then you help businesses grow by telling them, you know, what tools to use and how to get ranked up higher. So I would think that it, you know, sometimes, you know, the saying goes, you have to spend money to make money. And if you have a business, sometimes you have to spend the money to learn the ins and outs to make money.
Oh, that's so true.
And what was your wonderful resource? How do people get in touch with you, Lois, if they want to contact you about consulting and helping them with their business?
Well, so my website is JFT, which is J as in Jack, F as in Frank, T as in Tom, webmarketing.com, or you can email me at info@jftwebmarketing.com.
That is awesome. I didn't want to forget that.
I'll email you the links that we've talked about, too, so that you can maybe keep those in the show notes.
I'll tell you, folks, and if I have to toot my own horn, I will, okay, because nobody else is going to toot my horn. The value of the guest and the information they give on Chatting with Betsy is priceless. You just got information from Lois Wyant for free that can help you with your business. Think how much more you'll learn if you contacted Lois and hired her to help you. I mean, I can't, my mind is just, I can't wrap around it because I think it would just help a business so much to know more and to consult with you. And I just think really all the guests that come on, I learn from. And I'm glad I have a variety of guests, you know, to tell different information because not everyone's a caregiver. But you know what? This information, if you're a caregiver and you have a business, this is for you. This is helpful information that you're getting for free by listening to the show. Excuse me. But I want to thank you, Lois, for coming on today. Is there any other words of wisdom you'd like to leave the audience?
You know, it's a process, it's a journey. It's not just setting up one thing at a time. It's just continuously keeping an eye on what Google's doing, and especially with things changing, like I said, with this AI thing coming up, it might be just a short-term thing, and it might be something that becomes a whole new marketing concept. So it's just keeping up with everything. That makes it a challenge. And I realize that most people, most business owners, they're wearing so many hats, and it's just really hard to keep the business running and keep things rolling and keep the customers happy and the employees happy. But if there's certain things you can take off your plate, then you should really use somebody who specializes in that and set up systems that will take advantage, that you can take advantage of.
Yes, I know. I was thinking the same thing, Lois. I'm sure things with Google or YouTube changes all the time. And now AI is getting really big. Some of it is good. Some of it's a little scary that I saw on TV. I was watching my son's TV, that they could take a picture of someone, anyone, and have that person say something that's not appropriate. And you might think it's really that person, but it's not. So it can be a very useful tool, and then again, placed in the wrong hands, used improperly, it could be harmful. So it's hard to keep up on all this ins and outs of Google and YouTube. The rules and regulations, I'm sure, change all the time.
Yeah, they do.
Excuse me. Well, thank you so much. You heard today, folks, Lois Wyant. She is owner and CEO of JFT Marketing. The information about Lois will be in the blog, so please read the blog. And she is also podcast host and organizer of the wonderful podcast, The Giant Builders. And I know you're heard on Apple, Spotify, all over the place, right?
Right.
Oh, and on your YouTube. You're on YouTube video.
We do have YouTube too, yep.
Yes, you have a YouTube channel. I'll have to put that in the blog. Right. I will look that up.
I'll send the link.
Okay, all right, great. Folks, I would check it out. You know what? We learn from different people, different things all the time. And, life is a learning process. And if you're living, you should be learning all the time. And it helps your mind stay active, helps you grow as a person. And thank you, Lois Wyant, for coming on Chatting with Betsy. Thank you for this wonderful information that, to me, is mind-blowing. I'm not a tech person, as you could tell, folks.
Thank you, Betsy. We so appreciate the opportunity to be on your show and to share with your guests. You are an awesome host.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, and you're welcome. Pleasure is mine. And, folks, I would I highly recommend Lois Wyant. What you hear from Lois, this is who she is. She is authentic. She is a wonderful person, and she gives 100%, if not more. And
now you're making me
go ahead.
Now you're making me blush.
And definitely, the information will be in the blog, and I really would encourage you. You have a business. You want to know how to get on Google, stay on there, get ring tire. Lois is your woman, okay, or your person. I don't want to offend anybody. I can't say enough good things about Lois Wyant and what she does. And Jeannie White, I want to thank Jeannie White, who is station manager, Passion World Talk Radio, who writes the blog, produces the show, and the information will be in the blog, so make sure you read the blog. And I want to thank Lillian Caldwell, CEO of Passion World Talk Radio, who makes this all possible. And I want to thank you, the listeners. Please subscribe to Chatting with Betsy, and please share the show to help other people. Maybe you may not have a business, but maybe you know a friend who does, or maybe you know people whose business is struggling. I know they could probably really benefit from listening to Lois Wyant on the information she gave today. And, we're here to help each other. As human beings, we should be helping each other. And I just believe in supporting each other and helping each other. And if you want to know more about me and take a glimpse into my life, I'm on Facebook, Betsy E. Sloan. That's my married name. No, I'm not under Sloan. I'm under my maiden name, Wurzel, Wurzel. I'm also Betsy Sloan. And I have a Facebook group. If you are a caregiver, know a caregiver, chances are you're going to be a caregiver. My group is #Kick Alzheimer's Ass Movement on Facebook. You're welcome to join. And as always, I appreciate you listening. And I'm here to help. And the only way I can help other people as much as I'd like to is if you share the show. And when you do that, you are also honoring my husband, Matt's memory, because Matt was the catalyst for the show, and he is my inspiration for the show, and always will be. So I thank you for honoring Matt's memory when you share the show. And as I always say at the end of my show, in a world where you could be anything, please be kind and shine your light bright, because we sure need it. And if we all did that, it would be a much kinder, brighter world. And that would be awesome. Until we chat again, this is Betsy Wurzel. You're a host of Chatting with Betsy on Passionate World Talk Radio. Bye now.